Heidi Fleiss and her upper-middle-class family lived a comfortable life in Encino, California. But Heidi wasn't like the rest of her family. Rachel Bierman is the news editor for In Touch Weekly.
She was sort of the rebel in her family, definitely the black sheep.
Author Jim Parrish wrote about Heidi in the Hollywood Book of Scandals.
Heidi just was not very interested in school. She became a teenager. She suddenly got an attraction for the racetrack. She suddenly loved to go out to gamble there. And so she'd skip school and do that.
She hung out with the wrong crowd, and she decided to drop out of high school.
She just didn't want to lead a conventional life. She was just a little bit quirky, extremely bright person. And so she started going around to parties a lot, and she got involved with this financier, Bernie Cornfield. He was much older. He was in his late 50s. She was in her late teens. And he took her all over the world. He had several homes around America, abroad, and just like tasting champagne. Once she tasted it, she didn't want to go back to living a mundane life. I mean, she never lived an impoverished life. She was very upper middle class and lived very well, but she wanted more things. And so this made her eyes grow bigger with appetite. So I think that really helped in a way to prompt her into the lifestyle of saying, well, gee, this is what I want. I've experienced it. Now how the heck do I pay for it? Well, she was going to get that being a secretary.
Call girls, however, did make big money. Sometimes she would pull in $1,000 per night, and it was tax-free. Heidi alleges ex-boyfriend Ivan Nagy, a Hungarian film producer, first pushed her into the business. He supposedly introduced her to Alex Adams, the most powerful madam in Hollywood. Nagy denies this claim. In the late 80s, Heidi started working for Madam Alex. She didn't enjoy being a call girl, but Heidi saw an enormous opportunity selling sex to celebrities and powerful Hollywood moguls.
And she sort of became her apprentice. And she got good training, and Heidi was very, very bright. And she always claimed she didn't like being one of the girls, but she liked learning about the business.
Heidi Fleiss learned all she could from Madam Alex and then set out to take over her mentor's business. Charles McDougall directed Call Me, The Rise and Fall of Heidi Fleiss.
Heidi took the trade away by using younger girls, prettier girls, different kinds of girls, and became much more successful at getting into the brat pack kind of clientele in Hollywood.
Heidi was a very good merchandiser. She would go out to the different clubs herself and always be scouting for women that looked attractive, looked like they were the type. Maybe she saw them in the women's room using some drugs or something, and she was just start chit-chatting with people at clubs and recruiting them.
Heidi took over Madam Alex's clients and grew the business. The cash started pouring in, and Heidi found a way to keep living the high life.
And Heidi became sort of the madam to the stars, as she was known. And Heidi developed this very high-priced business where her girls were getting, say, $1,500 to $2,000 a night. She would get roughly about $900 to $1,000 of that from each girl. She had these rules of decorum, and most particularly about the payment methods that make sure that they paid back to her and that the money all came in. And so Heidi was very careful about that.
Heidi bought Michael Douglas's former home, using her father's name. Paul Fleiss thought Heidi was making her fortune in real estate. But her secret was exposed when Heidi couldn't keep her mouth shut.
She'd go out to a party and she couldn't resist letting people know, and she wanted to be part of the A-list proceedings because she felt like, I'm a star too. And part of her ego wouldn't let her sit in the background and be very quiet and just rake in her money and do her business. She wanted to be out and about. Number two, at least it was alleged, she wasn't smart enough to make a cooperative deals with some law enforcers and agencies of whatever sort, that she wasn't providing them with the usual tips that most madams would in the past in exchange for their looking the other way. She was arrested on pandering charges, and at that point in '93, everything broke loose.
Her Hollywood clients were biting their nails.
A lot of people were very nervous. She knew a lot of celebrities, and apparently a lot of them became part of her black book.
Heidi was arrested, and Hollywood went berserk saying, oh my God, her little black books were actually 4 little red day planners might come to light.
It's very interesting because it's actually entirely corporate, and they were sending girls on jets belonging to studios to high-profile clients in order to keep them in favor with the studio.
many movie executives at several studios had been partaking of her services, not always for themselves, but as sort of a perk on the set. Oh, this visiting person who's put money into the picture wants a prostitute, Heidi will supply it. Oh, we're having this big party, we want a lot of curvaceous, willing women attendants, Heidi will provide them. And a lot of these would end up on budgets of pictures.
Heidi went on trial, and Hollywood held its breath. But only one celebrity's name was revealed in connection with the Hollywood madam: bad boy Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen is so interesting because he grew up, of course, in the limelight, and not much touched him because he was the bad boy. He was the bad boy in films, and people sort of see him as the bad boy.
Charlie basically became the scapegoat for all the powerful men in Hollywood who were using Heidi's services. But Charlie took it on the chin.
But I accept responsibility for the majority of it. And the stuff I can't control, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know? There's no book of rules going in until there's a few hiccups and a couple of blunders. Then, of course, they tell you what you shouldn't have done. But thanks for the warning, guys.
The 1997 trial involved sex, drugs, power, and celebrities. An irresistible combination. Heidi was sentenced to 3 years in prison for money laundering, tax evasion, and attempted pandering. By 2002, Heidi was out of prison, and she had the fame she had always craved. She was ready for her happy Hollywood ending, but this was not to be. Heidi made it back into the headlines when she accused her boyfriend, actor Tom Sizemore, of abuse and harassment.
He apparently burned a cigarette hole in her.
After a while, Heidi just had enough, and she reported him to the police, and she wouldn't drop the charges. She kept going after it, and he finally got convicted of them.
He was sentenced to 9 months in jail, but he only served 60 days. Then he was released, and there were so many drug charges against him. He was recently sentenced to 17 months in jail for faking a drug test.
While Tom is in and out of jail, the former Hollywood madam has opened a lingerie boutique, appears as a periodic guest on Fox News programs, and has sold the rights to her life story to Paramount Pictures for a reported $5 million.